echese nsem boni afa yen bambo ho a esie ewo ya santimantem ho anoma enam suma Alhaji Abdul Malik Azengbe wohwere ne nkwa ewo asoase enano brada ya enei etwemu no ose the Regional Security Council no emergency meeting kuada no na de omode eba ye ni se intentema we ene nhyehyɛ omde aba se motor bicycle omomtwi moto no yempene emobia emfa moto emfa ya kwan so womra abo nonso de ekonwume nonso ti before se nonso beba obetwi moto na no watwi de tosomienu se ene moto na yen license no ana moto asabi eni kanea eno so yabra ewo eye ya santimam ha afei eye football competition ekoso sebi eye busueku ahodo mo akabo mu a wo mu esia kan ewo eye football mu no omse enimanimu ye no so yentwe ensensen ena afei motorbike bia na so bia otwi motorbicycle bia no ho a ebe pene so ama sebi wahye fugu anase smoke eno eho ewo ho ewo eno de ababetodwa na wasan de atodwa se enei ambammo no ebekoso ayekese ewo mmea na atututuo no ekoso no eye police for ene asoja fo nyina ebehwe se asomdwe ene se yebo nipa ene ajapade ho eban no ebetimi akọ nanim na omso mguso a omoye nhwemu ti wo emfsem bia efa nema ekoso ne mabone a ekoso eka efa eye kusasi hini o wasantimantimam kun no ubetimi edi aba we eye ensama womo edi aba betudwa nya no nko de atudwa ne se na sen ne atwam anase eno ne nechi a nipa mienu asen ewu ewa asoase honom na manfo akọ na mibuso se edien na esie enso ewo yemam ha emasa nyeman ekoso efri December say yeto aba ebesisa mrei anembonesa na akoso sa wo yemam ha no ma mini say security personnel no awo ha no omo adwuma no na ayede amamo na se omo di bone no na se bi mfidi omukuta no eboro so che wo mu nti wo mu entimi entu anamon ne ya na ebusa se sebi ompanyifo eni yemam ha sebi man Ghana manfo ye kunkum omo na inema bone ekoso omo yesa de mpo emre ni man mu hanom ehwable kuma ene nema akokọ okoso a echese ase ebinumu de sebio ebinumu de ebasa ye ka Ghana ne ka ho bambo ne se de mradi eya manfo ewo ye man mu hanom a womo de womo nka ho womo eti ba bia womo di jompeso ye bia enomo ye and these things are going on and no wonder and the defense minister Babontin ebekasa munitions ahodo yeah wasn't call the appropriate security apparatus hono ayira because akwaku di amanfo bi ensem ya sebio womu edidi ensem hunu ensem wone ya sebi niema ensem fata enomo ye say koso say ya efa ne man no ebenyina kodo before the 2024 elections amanfo bi Babontin pain ebekan say ammunitions bi a police for obi omusu obi a say police for kasom ni omu sham ni omu shia boot for boot ebesi na enim de kosi ye. So are we going to live in a society like this? Niahwe emasane maboni akoso ana. A word to the wise. They say it's enough. Mamema Dr. Evans Nunu Akwaba. Doc. Na bokode.
Nyamia do me ho yepa.
Ede nyamia sipa. Sanso na Dr. Solomon Kwatin Fokyo. Kumasi Technical University, the best technical university in the whole of Ghana for over 10 years and still counting. Eba Ghana so muto sunsia. Akwaba. Na ho ye de.
Adon empire boya.
Ye de nyamiase. Ye de nyamiase. Nkabo bi achi ayo. All right. Right, say Gabriel Siedu eba be kan yansa ono eye NDC anamsi ni ba ko be kwa ni potem honma drip machine ono na ehweso ono so eba be kan sa o message abeti be 0551 599933 yenhwe ye video sika krebi na yemra na yenhwe ho nsem nanom na the finance minister ko piem e parliament no the mid-year budget review no ekotudwa na okansem efa COVID-19 levy. Wekaya before amampanin a ɔte so yi ɛbɛba aban mu ne campaign ɔde to dwa sɛ ɔba ɔbɛyi COVID-19 de free obɛsi nɛ ɛmfiri hɔ ora atofo sen ɛkyerɛ mu de ntie mfiri hɔ ne kwan a ɔmo ɛbɛfa so a ɔmo bɛyi ɛfiri hɔ yɛntie nsɛm a ɔde to dwa no.
I would like the Ministry of Finance hopes to complete this process by September 2025. Prepare a new VAT bill by October 2025 and submit same to Parliament as part of the 2026 budget statement. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reassure the people of Ghana that at the minimum, the following will happen as part of the VAT Act. Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, COVID levy will be abolished. The effective VAT rate will be reduced. The punitive cascading effect of the GET Fund and NHIS levy will be removed. VAT flat rate will be removed. And a unified VAT rate will be implemented. The VAT registration threshold will be increased to exempt small and micro businesses, and compliance will be improved through public education, awareness creation, and the introduction of fiscal electronic devices will be deployed. So, Speaker, I now take you to expenditure.
Fiscal ato forcing ena otese odi ensem to jo wie no amana so ha na wotiti bi man na danko kufuado na memu na wobebu ye ne se we enya memu wo mo aseye sikasem no propra na fei ena Ghana ye gina brane ye nyamfiri mu de nanso enye den a ye befrim yentia no so ensem a the finance minister edi etudwa efa ho.
Answer. Right, Honorable Speaker. Notwithstanding the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the primary balance on commitment basis remains unchanged at a surplus of 1.5% of GDP. Based on the revisions to revenue and expenditure, the following fiscal balance on cash basis improves from a deficit of 4.1% of GDP to 3.8% of GDP. I mean the fiscal balance. The overall fiscal balance on the root of our 2022 economic crisis can be traced directly to an overbearing fiscal dominance, marked by reckless spending and corruption, compounded by poor leadership of the previous NPP administration. Mr. Speaker, the worsened fiscal situation spilled over into the monetary and external sector, causing a rapid depreciation of the Ghana cedis. The monetary financing by the central bank reached an all-time high, driving inflation to levels never seen in decades. Mr. Speaker, there was a complete lack of coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, signaling the highest level of incompetence in the management of our economy. Mr. Speaker, in the face of all this dire inheritance bequeathed by the Akufo-Addo administration, the government of President John Dramani Mahama made a conscious decision not to make excuses, but to reset our country. Speaker, the root of our 2022 economic crisis.
Media budget review ni mo na minority ohwe ya na wo mu eni ho na no mo yese kom person presenting aye mo presenting wo mo asem de to aye speaker nim na speaker se da bi sabre die o se ye hwe aye budget review da chi bi ni ahwe no mo se da bi ono so hu hia mo omo aye omo arrangement o se omo hyiehia empanyfo ni ekobi a omo de koto omo ni nti the stage a walkout and omo ekoye yenko na no so yenhwe de ekopie mu enso ewo ho.
Defy your authority. Mr. Speaker, we have lined up a number of activities to back home our demands, and to the extent that these violence visited are not atoned, we cannot be part of the presentation of the media budget. And to that extent, Speaker, to that extent, we are exiting the Parliament and cannot be part of this process.
Honorable Anodompre and Atusode and some to Jaffe Yanko, the road minister, ho na yemfa eno NC. Wa TTB Ediama cement producers wo Ghana ha say ase omo de ekoso wo mamu ha no mu hu ye ene magina gina $1 say egina brani cedi wa appreciate over 46% ema nema agba form a montete mo de so amose montete so yenko nenko tie nsema the road minister Honorable Gavins Kwame Agboja or the two FR cement producers and Ghana and so on.
To unveil details of the media review as expected today. I expect him to lay much of the gains we made as a people together through sacrifices and everything. But there's an issue that goes beyond what government can do. In the past, cement dealers or cement producers increase their prices, claiming that the bulk of their inputs come from abroad or imported sources. And indeed, when they increase the prices, that is the bulk of what they base their prices of. Today, that did not change. Much of what is used to produce and sell cement in our country is imported. Whilst every other commodity in terms of price have responded to the gains we have all made together as a country, as a people, by reducing prices, cement dealers are refusing to pass on the gains to buyers. Henceforth, we at the Ministry of Road and Highways would take a second look at all those producers who are refusing to pass on the gains to the public in determining where we direct the major government programs that use cement. We shall be more aligned to cement producers who are ready to pass on the gains made in the economy in terms of stability of the currency to consumers. So if you are a cement seller today, you better look at the possibility of passing on the gains made in the economy to
and some of the roads minister and also at the Etugam at the fast cement and home. Right, you couldn't come up, but me and she and come to train as well, as and when yeah, come to train be ready no na ya bedi and come up. My Mr. Free Dr. Nuno na yenhwe quick one on the mid-year budget review, just within about 2-3 minutes. Now, mention your impression and then your take on the mid-year budget review.
Well, but that's not well, review way. I must say that in my candid opinion, one of the best.
One of the best
over the past 10 years. Except that there are some things that me feel as on mine. I was say you need that one year as revealed by the review. And you know, overall, no make I say the finance minister presented a good budget review, and I'm thinking that NSABA good because it was cooked out of vacuum. But I am thinking that because over the past 6 months we've seen improvement in our various macroeconomic variables, you know. And then budget review, no, you said the ACT, no. And of course, because we have done well in the past 6 months, you know, our projections going forward, no, so no, it sounded good for a brighter future for this nation. And I think that in overall, no, it's a good budget statement, and we must commend the finance minister and the governor of Bank of Ghana for good monetary and fiscal policies. However, like I'm saying, there are some things I think that so probably at the right time we may look at that.
Yes, you're the good side. Pillars are so I can say you're good, no. You delve deeper into them. Nafi Yashe. George say Nkuyi. But my memory, Dr. Kwatin Kwabena Owusu also briefly on the review. Dog.
That's good. Looking from it from different angles. To be an the original the person Becca. From the angles, about we buy the concentration power of figures.
The concentration figures.
No figures. Say inflation above form, irrespective of say a translated about the living standard of the people. Dollar, Gina say, insanity that they will do everything possible to present figures. And behind the figures, and that's what some of us are looking at for. So there is nothing in the review, no.
There's nothing.
No. Do I say he's not coming to spend?
So was spending so tray categorizing Niema Hodo Maya
on spending.
on spending.
No. It the aqua say the obeya and obekai.
You bit me,
So in here, Skabia Biamonka, Omra Magiska and Cahu. Near most Casa for Quayam Quayam Quayam, better Bejibiamoka.
I see.
So, Dintino figures in there come up, be show very good. Oh, your books, Muna, but to Babu Tuma.
That is where the problem is.
So, as a Keska, driver for Nasan related to the old person. I'm both Trinko, so him, sir. What? And now with him.
Me Frocache.
Lorry fair no motives no almost as sounds go back to the no homogen and be crying AGB can electricity inflation at 130 something % within the shortest possible time. So electricity fuel watum by 9 point something %. It is all be review no one may take care of animal. We will now be review now say COVID tax just a next year. And I'll be here for once. I just show promise to be here for that. Then to want me make care of animal, we want to take care of animal because taking care of animal we now the figures now person be try for the difference no e be sure.
Okay. So you won't give them any positive back.
Oh no, send the positive in the man say what be be present.
That's the positive part.
Exactly, is over present.
Okay.
And no be present.
Okay.
So okay. And no be present. My mouth simple calculations. So because be your debt Ghana debt no atimi aba fo mba motimi amana kofo mbebria no buza so buy odua bru krank enyin no koton ma debt ne kofo so what the 1,000 Ghana cedis what the $1,000 would do be $1,000 our bruchery into the book books no better say those days no dollar almost 17 cedis no over 17,000 cedis it is so manipulated at the gold ne sa ne mane man ba ma dollar ne ba 10.3 the same books no no over car with there over 10,300. You to compare 17,000 to 10,300. No, because Ghana debt no, I reduce drastically. But you haven't been any way beyond Casabia, Makotia, and the kind of swati. But just the figures now manipulating. So this is a typical example. Na me demon.
Okay.
So now me the $1,000. Ubetro me book as NDPP time no. Ubetro no 17,000. See no ba. E kind of so beti amana ba 10,300. Into because Ghana debt no. I am per figures in the shows as what. Dear no I am as to a gold or the cook see we are no $1 no. Office I will is this sustainable?
Right. I'll come back to you, but my member Dr. Nuno na for you the specifics. Now we can positives, near can negatives. My answer from the negative side. You really need the positive now. The negativity now who know about your budget.
Also, we have budget now. Yeah, and overall average inflation. About 13.7%. Now that is good because now well over 20 years. At a point, so even around 23%. I think coming from January. Now, for some of us, that is where we play. I mean, economics, and so we are mindful of the figures, and that is what I want to put on record.
Okay.
And so, in the absence of the records, it's difficult to make meaningful statement because then be subjective.
Okay.
Why will say, but it is the record and the data that will set us on the same platform. That notwithstanding, I mean, if inflation were 23%, now say a buying bit to make the buffer, it is commendable, no matter how you look at it. Unless, of course, you are able to attack the integrity of the data.
Okay.
But once you are not able to attack the integrity of the data, we have to make use of the data available, and that is what I'm doing. So, if you're able to bring inflation from 23% to say 30.7% over a period of like 6 months, it's commendable. Now, there is one bit about
a bit me a more, and I am adding.
Now, difficult to let me say that there is something we have to pay attention to, and that is the fact that over food inflation over the past years, a higher check. Oshe ye basket na the emma inflation no egalopi edwane pa ye inuane. Na oshe budget mu a inuane bo no even though overall general inflation average no 13.7 eduane dey 16%.
Still I was
saying the average. Meaning say eduane still na eto no mabo kosoro. Na o say Abraham Maslow ne physiological ne hierarchy of needs. Na physiological needs no so basic. Offer eduane, shelter, and frema, and those things. Now it means that nimpe bia betene wiase a we nya hwe kra no de obedi ene de obehye ne bi ode ne tibeto de e wo se onya it is on mind bi ho na se ontumi mma timemfo no eni di mo ho nto wo mo bia obedi di anopa wonye duane bi emu ni ana anopa no obedi di no enye se bia enye kom na do but wodidi anopa ewia nwumre ho bekire nti no wasada ahrahram saa ewia no apefufu bi edi na wanum si bi nwumre no wakwada
okay
hadwen and I was even surprised Minister for Transport and so voice no it had to do with cement and I don't know whether we talk about it but I have always maintained that there seems to be an oligopoly
I don't know what you're saying oligopolis okay
industry because of the capital requirement so set up cement factory and you be on which me akuro be say momo no we here sika bi na
capital intensive
exactly so into I say nyumako kakra bi na ewo ho into wo mutumi nyina ya adwenkro say yebo no say ne ye manako obutumi hwe ne nua me nua de etse nti me so me di into I say indirectly no wo behave like a monopoly because we don't have so many players in that industry so and all over the world especially if you take a country like America they fight against monetization of housing not just one person obi be take undue advantage of the housing system so or the pesika bebre into one good mortgage system utumi yen kakra nkra enega na nikura kwa amanonea obetumi ayedwuma de etua kakra nkra na wenya be de tiato and it is because so basic into say yen no and the minister say cement boy de ne ade into growth to mean say na food inflation according to the budget no so I was saying average inflation and na ade ne ade ye ho into for me and it is because we've not done much in terms of agric into abanwe no the official statement no mu a wabon ho modern with the variables but in terms of agri-economy who is still there is a deficit there and so well their major all-encompassing policy is 24-hour economy and there is an aspect of it that has to do with agri so my recommendation is that they pay much attention to it and then there is another bit about it which is on the same inflation which even inflation in respect of imported products is lower than the average national inflation which means that say it can easily compete out the locally manufactured products. Restaurant na adie no eto foods akoko foods cost on a imported chicken because ebia so omoka so omoto local chicken na dia aduane na omboboka and it is just an easy way out for me.
Easy way.
Send me message to say example now but there are several other products imported ones and cheaper than workers away Ghana.
How does I didn't know yes because say you can say and nay company was you say you be more of what you be do more of what you produce hanum but still the free man ne ba no e bona e woso no e from ti e maye de no entimi empeja in economics again and what are the implications animal we koswa
yes I was a minia one factor but I'll come to that but before there's something we call dumping. Dumping means that you see when you produce in large quantities you enjoy economies of scale. The person say okota de back one oboka sense obi beton boom because anya na kra na Ghana kra yotumoto so if you take economies like China any American idea na one companies because so be a company be say KFC sorry probably I'm advertising for the factory na offer one company otumi produce bebre intino ono no hu say o produce bebre a wonya mfaso no ana say ka no sete no obetumi aye bebre na wabeto egu so o man bi so inti because ono ne ye bebre na onya mfaso bebre na ne ka no ewo fom no o de begu so sa na once woman maybe an our capacity no to produce baby sir.
Okay.
Into now offer and no maybe was the million can electricity. Offer and you bo offer a 12 bit and now Kambuma. It makes it very difficult to compete with them because ABI and Ami can work around electricity bono. And yet, sir, and now even if you look at the cost of borrowing, and again, hey, we Kobobosi as a company, young farmer, and you pay 28% interest. Maybe on no chrome or Kobobosia 1%, 1% being the same. Into you are not on the same platform. Into Onono has a better way of competing you out.
Okay.
But then, as a nation, no, yeah, so we can play with our duties. Say what the name of name by a quite fast way, and we shouldn't just do it anyhow. I was say you say well. Adeɛ ya yɛ di be anka ebetumi ayebu Ghana na ɛne me yɛfa to bi ɛha wɔ mo na yɛma Ghana deɛ no mom to wɔn mmra fam na wɔn compete ebi adeɛ bi wɔ hɔ a wo hwɛ Ghana no yɛ nuru bebi ebetumi produce enough into no okay say yɛ ka say yɛ de to no ha wɔ mo a a trigger prices because we don't have any option than to depend on imported goods, imported counterparts. Into any yenya careful kakra na sa no man yamfa to bebre ankoto so se na ebe ya atime mufo nkwakire wo mo. So it's not a general thing. We just have to steady our system and see how we can play with our fiscal policies. I mean taxes and revenues. Se na ebe ya ye de be influence policies. And yes e bia ye so ya na de to na beto so. You see, and that is how sometimes and intimpo na Emma Dilevia Hunkomabi na anka mema dwem no mususu se anka it should have been imposed on gallons, not letters. Okay. Because me susu yemu no taxes must be progressive. What I want to say is that say all the atobi ba was say woji be brefi escafo ho sene ehiafo na on say nkofo bebre na yusu okada omo yusu okada no facha me bebre na ho because e bia omo sika enso ka ato nti no mo yusu okada apart from kakra bia e bia say omo be kwa abantem nti no omo be prefer okada but then if you do the calculation you realize that most people omo chu okada no enya nkrofo e bia even say omo sika semu was to be bracer as compared to be use Land Cruiser. Now sanka what was what you use okada and you use abobo yano ebi oba to fuel on kwato enru 1 gallon kra into eto no enka no
liter ebi oba kwato 3 liters bi now because a gallon is about 4.5 liters ebi okwa no wato 3 liters bi into ono no wafa no hwedi but the ono gini hu no bekasa fele mame and as am 2 gallons no nanka ono netua because nisika some no likely I was saying the ono ton nkakra no so these are some of the things we must look at. Senior Beya, we can bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, but I can say that it is worrying to see that food inflation is still higher in this nation, and cement prices and things that will provide shelter to the people are still higher, and so we have to take steps to work on these things. Yes. Yeah, you hear the positives. You talk about the positives. Positives do anything because some people and people who say is on paper and you have that positivity, and I say there was a buying when you as a Robin Peter to pay poor. Scanner baby also into Yama in a way, so I won't spend it there, then definitely more cancel.
Because it's a baby, I was a corner and and 1% coin. Look, on my are buying with fire. Coming from 2022, if you understand economics, you realize that from 2022 coming in and on my in a year. And it's obviously so I agree with the finance minister when he talks about the fact that it was due to extreme and excessive monetary financing. I mean there was that fiscal dominance and one aspect I cannot agree or disagree with him is about the corruption bit because so far court a convict with the corruption bit I want to be indifferent but regarding monetary financing and those aspects of it or enumerating it was accurate because look, coming from 2020 inflation was around 54.1. You're a journalist, you can easily agree with that, yes. But then I must also say that NPP before they checked that of power now one more take steps for the economy to recover. So most of the successes we are even experiencing started from latter part from
according to the finance was saying because they met nothing. Actually they built from scratch into say the credit to my MPP. We shouldn't give them that credit because omono and ababa yade amo prudence management and financial referencing you are an economist especially be able to match
how could you use 6 months to build from scratch? So I mean 6 months it's anyway, virtually impossible.
Okay.
But then NDC has done so well in terms of our macroeconomic achieving positives regarding our macroeconomic variables. Look, let's pick inflation. And look, whether you like it or not, inflation matters in the management of the economy. And look, if you pick inflation from, let's say, 23%, because around January, I think it was around 23%. Now, and you're able to bring it down, given the fact that the data has integrity. If you bring it down from 23% to 13.7%, that is highly commendable.
Okay.
I mean, it is not as if say Bimoka say you away bottom, obey no bottom, because in case we are recording deflation. We are talking about inflation. Of 13.7%, and it's still high.
Okay.
Look, nations like Scotland, England, America, near the inflation do 4% growth now demonstration basic. Inflation you 13.7.
Anyway,
so you see, we are only recording disinflation, not deflation.
Okay.
So the thing is, inflation is still high in Ghana, and when we say inflation is 13.7%, all that we are saying is that let's pick it from January to December. We are saying that first now we're 23%, no, na ebia ankadia you turn 100 cedis, no, or picking it from January to December, maybe 100 cedis, ebedu December na about 123 cedis.
Okay.
Na nyamia dum sisia no ebedu December no na about 113 cedis. Enti yenkase no maboso.
Yenkahwe,
yenkase no
maboso ntie, na
can say edwane no and they reduce kakra ma ye. Enti no workers won't no botoma na ya akoye say bia nka opesa okodwoma hu say no mabo na eba from, but that is deflation.
Okay.
And so for me they've done well because bibia na e wo no na enye, and they projected 11%. It is around 13.7%. My only hope is that the data has integrity.
Data integrity no need dey. What refers to say we hope no say the data has integrity. Like data integrity na any day.
Oh, former Ghana statistician, government statistician, I liked him so well, so much. His figures had integrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Accurate.
Okay.
And look, obetumi kuku figures.
I'm
not saying that is what is happening at all. No, I don't have any reason to doubt the statistics at all. All that I'm saying is that data must have integrity. It should be factual. Because you can easily say something, and because of your position, we believe it.
Okay.
Let's say if Ghana's as car service by but Ebiana, World Bank, and IMF, so by any day, different thing.
Okay.
Which means Ebiana data not like integrity.
Okay.
So my only hope is that we are experiencing good data, because I can say that about the previous statistician. He was okay. I really liked him, and I hope that this one too is correct. But let me, in order for me to be fair, let me also talk a bit about the positives, right?
Okay.
Because Michelle,
dog.
Maybe I didn't know.
Exactly. Positives. Mengasa.
But make up positives. So you see, they've done well with our inflation, and in terms of policies, the finance minister and the governor of Bank of Ghana have proven said they are competent.
Which policies?
Yes, in terms of policies, fiscal and macroeconomic policies. They've done so well because you see, even in terms of do you know that in terms of economic growth for the first 2 quarters of 2025, now I around 5.7% above the projected GDP growth.
Yeah.
It means that they are gentlemen. They say actions speak louder than words.
They don't talk that much,
and that is what gentlemen do.
Okay.
You see, and if you even look at borrowing, they borrowed. The projected borrowing level, even going forward, they have reduced it.
Okay.
The current projection per the budget statement review by the budget review statement, they have even reduced the projected amount to be borrowed.
Okay.
And even in terms of deficit, primary deficit, they have revised it downwards.
Okay.
They projected a deficit of primary deficit of about 3%. Now we are approximately 3%. We are now talking about approximately 2%.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And you see, our problem has been government spending when it doesn't have money to do that.
Okay.
And let me stress this: any government that intentionally allows inflation to gallop is a thief.
aban bi obema inflation na huri kwankwan akona ni mu no
Oyekronfo.
I'll come back to you. My member Dr. Akwatin Fukuho na yenra details of what Ato Ekan. We say Ato is forcing na you know but the minority was not there. Minority no. If you are more might possibly they could have raised though Omunya say and debate so much about it, but they weren't there. But into details or he made or make or born him maybe so. According to them, they are doing so well, especially with spending. Neho na mpesi ureye, because still almost spending. But on no art a lot of things are almost a year they are spending according to, and I say as against what people are saying, say the government is not spending.
It's true. Se pechi kwa no ma san koso ye. Manso kwanta kwa ida ai kubijo static tikiti na ordinary machines go on almost spending to outside the machines na koso away.
Anyway.
Alo mi busa kwa.
So me hu omo. Me hu omo.
So he's spending about
me fa ho de but menti omo nka.
Accra Road na no me duration na omo ye na. Omo nyina pa ko machines si no. All spending but once omo nkoye. Everybody. But the free baby economics can government inflation gallop cost be babiano is a thief and a government so inflation force man ko from bia no pekwa be cheska
opekwa be cheska
say inflation ni from power force man ba from paper so now you are creating financial gap.
Okay,
financial gap no what ma fail by printing more local currency. Okay. Now they are financing projects. And that's what they are trying to do.
I see.
Almost for 20 on to salary to 10%. On to your contractor for contractors on do omoka on to your omoka. On ye a new project via agenda 111 about we free on any hospitals. On come schools or cars will be a can said the beya. A friend is a double track and you remember my friend no traffic light no e be twam onko ye enna sikaba system ni mu ama tete economics no ye kai free mu books ni bi mu no e kon so that years no tire say more money chasing fewer goods ama na basa ama inflation na but scanning system ni mu on spending into basa and inflation automatically ever from about from people so they are to print more money. No, do no bus system. To come next 2-3 months, new currencies as a beer system.
Okay.
Fresh ones. Because what inflation no about from into a gab with my printed local currency. And it means my country say country and as a government or force artificially. Emma inflation ba from bibribiana no pekro no abo peso twa local currency bibregum na wode beye na dwuma e de hunu ankofo so
galloping inflation brings what tifree
and the other side so one cry dey dangerous kora onu bi na omo use no o mia okon on to salary no akoto aduane adi say teacher for dodo no anko mu si omo dan omo ja so bo opa akohwe frenat for no ma no mu si omo dan akwasi mu omo ya sesen ko omo sisi omo dan nyina bi to nchensin gu ho samre omo jai cement bu okosoro omo ntimi ntobi omo jai inflation nko no niska akota de be den pakuratum and that is this now omo use another one aban be na abai also government station so sesa na do de ba na ni pakura be more figures oni be je ho government station ote no wanyare wo yin adwuma kama onko pension wo baaye na also onko nche ne fa wo de bra betna so no more figures and you are getting the figures
so
media minka so
mina mibusa
media minka
ensem na mibusa
me say aban government station not ho no say political atade wo yin adwuma wo baaye na also tena nchen ne mfa ye de mra no mo ye figures ayepe so you are getting the figures so figures no anything to go by
until you are trying to probe into the integrity of the figures.
Men fasa mo nsema no.
Emina mbusa se mbusa.
Me wo ko dwomu no. Enema ne bo no enkosoro ntentema na.
Okotubi say you see konkonte bo from 1200 about 950. Oil no that's what to say.
And I mean to make sure electricity. Abana na to free no. Abana to free no. Oba ye we na. What how many percentage? electricity inflation ko akosai, fuel inflation akosai.
Okay.
I don't know you so one example, no ko use konkonte. Ma me kan tell say do sa time say buy mono bar, buy refufro ne bar. E force ma other basic aduane be local ones prices ko form. E ya de da ho, e bro mono bar, buy mono bar. Ba konkonte bo body bo menkani bo banche bo ekofom
tie specialist
no me say me kan say me bo abusa o mo ton nema.
Okay.
First pa kra na say nkensu ha say toto a enwaba emreba amane ba na ntwinamfo no musu ye ntone bo ne bafom ntinye ona akoba konkonte bo abafom ato unko techima nkwa ye konkonte mane ma afom wo ba da benya obedu abanche ma abanche enyini ya aso ayetu banche no ahata ayam no konkonte mane bo abafom.
Okay.
So don't moment to niam ngu ni pani sir. Monto to niam ngu ni pani sir because service repair sir. Obi akodwom Ghana sa no omtio. Obi abe di no hwe. Tika wo kan inflation asama na nka waka de wa ban ne wa ye ama inflation akosoro say wo nko ban electricity bo no watum ahodo tere QNet adwuma no bi no mo ye no senka sa ayiwe mu no oh ade na se budget o me QNet lo be because na nka onim say obeye budget review we no we no mu na esa nko de be sese or to fuel mu that is the D levy no that is a 1 cedi per liter no we translate about 9%. Fuel no electricity or 17.17% no ko de be se budget we mu ba o di kind buy ansan no de obeye review budget nto kai budget we ndo buy 100 1 to be ama but a week or 2 weeks before this budget review nti no mu delay no a week before this budget review no force am ye to D levy.
Yeah.
That should have been part of the budget.
Okay.
And I'm a QNet.
Okay.
Nyansa no DBT or DBT. Pamon for I need a home aware. They will show them one day. Ka budget review we mono. Onu mu na esen ko di D levy ni ba say me review no. Ebusuan for me pray me ho ko yi. Taxes me no be free ho no. That's yi levy ni free ho. Any sa betting tax in any money free. Ama me revenue akofo ma me ho akire me ti me de.
We become
DL levy be she na name. But we do the card on the buy and no ba be ready. Oba be review budget no. Into beka budget do on fa ka bia yi bia metum. Ghana for ntia say electricity no tum no. Any D levy no the buy na is part of the review.
Okay.
Ntia say what to petrol mu 9%. Electricity to atum 17.5%. Elka na review obeye we no.
See.
Number 3. The intro try say oba COVID ni ho na amanfo gi COVID to no beje afiri mu o gi ni 1 year no na say nka review we buy no we free ho.
I don't know trim.
Me kire say o get campaign no tian mo no so betim akire. Say nko yi free ho by this time around. And am ka QNet. Sa niema we mu nyina ye mfa mu man. Ye mfa mu man. He on say economics is very good no church any man be bre mu no. Say food inflation was through. Food inflation that's was through. Food inflation that's was through. And yama e different brochure ban be that's was through na affect local production. Adam betra ha ka kire wo. So be kai pa me ka kire say dollar na ba form na ho ade ba form see the cost e ni eje no. Counterproductive to the local manufacturers.
Market. Okay, manufacturers, yeah.
Because offer city kakra be say obenya dollar ni bebre. Suppose that some of them more pa bochi de ne bo no ho. No mo de akofa nkokọ na ba. Etu akofa akokọ a first na nko hia 10,000 Ghana cedis. En wonya certain amount of dollar no. Say obotimi the 7,000 Ghana cedis enya the same amount of dollar. E de afa nkokọ na ba. Ama ne bo na ba ye full local market say. Ama so ofasola o ye nkokọ ajemesu. Ufra ajemesu ko dem na say kurobi we fro tewa kitikiti bi. E ho na ofa solomu ye na kokọ. Ni de no okofa ba ye nto. Okofa ba on say nkokosua e ba system no bebre. Aya check he. Wona ma wodi afi woni. Won ta nkukuru so de boga wona nam kuru. Wona nam adum ne ayim kwa. Ye ne ekọ akiri no. Ubo hu se kosua e ba system ni mo. Simply because nkokọ na nkom beton ama yetimi atobia we no. Ne bo no e foma farmers no moto mo ho kire mo ti mo nyina to kosua mo. Nti na nkosua ne ba nti nkokọ nda so gu ho. nka saa mmerɛ wei sɛ no nka ɔmo tɔn nkokɔ no de ɛtɔ ɛrestock broilers na se fo mbeton no Christmas time ba say ɔmo gye ɔmo nyina hɔ ɛmo ɔmo nyina da so to a ɛkɔ so create cost ɛmo kɔ akokɔ no ba abere wa on to mo still nto didi un sɛ mmerɛ afo bi didi nti no ɔda so didi mo ɔda so didi no ɔto nkoso yanketenkete nti ɔmo kra ɛbrɛ simply because of for some dollar na say ayefo artificially elsewhere China mo ɔmo tim produce more no ɔmo dollar ne boɔ no ɛyɛ fo sɛ bi amanfo ɔbɔ ɔmo kroma bɛtɔ nneɛma ne de akɔ ba ye fo no ye de kra nkyɛnsen a broni didi mo ɔntimi ahohuru ukɔ yawada ukɔ bantima ba bi na satekrete yi nneɛma container yi nneɛma agu hɔ na ohuna mbrofo se kan ha de nneɛma asɛ de broni kyɛnsen odidi mo a wɔntimi ahohuru mu nyina ye de abanye de odidade etwum ɛton amanyen because a dollar number phone to mo fa ne nyina megua hanye dumping ground. You don't do that.
But because it be balance no because the dollar above from say okay China for the man abani yenti me hwɛ the other aspect na yen hwɛ sɛ e be me production rather koso
good yen fruit dua emfiri soro hyperbola odisi ho a ebohwe akokɔ de nan bi no hwitibo mu a ne kokotwi fom ka ansa na obeye sa ne ma we mu nyina na nko hwɛ o 24 hour economy na officer dey entro na entimi nya adwuma na nko behwɛ we ni mu sɛ one district one factory na ban ba akode bai no na bi o betima savage ana amount production atimi akosora na you betima savage. You listen to the words I'm using because you nyina na good aban no ba akode twam ko enso ni policy ni bi ho a ne nko yie so it ubehwehwe mu anya bi a 10 bi a o savage a ebe no pomp bi ogu no mo so produce more na they are able to compete na what me the name so ko parliament say mo na mo do so parliament e the miracle parliament say hey free na importation of rice, importation of chicken, importation of this me the abahwe and do koduru na on betwa mama because mo na mo do so but you don't do that because it's kill net you don't do that what masa nneema no gu ho and yen local producers omo ya anwa kakra o ha no they are suffering because almost say bebre fra Argentina GMO tie na begu ha ma omo de no ya yento adwonwo omo no ya adwonwo atasoma so CSI ho nyina omo nyina omo kɔ amobi re hotonsa omo ya adwonwo no bi entontie de ho na mobi no bi de bia ba no tonsa obi ento competition what force wa pese Ghana for so why ade ama dollar no ahodena bafom ntino who good the local industry and now good gradually because the difference
I see
ye can't de kire omo ntia se omo tumirika dodo ye mfa 6 months enchekere o man wo fiti preocupation emojaba employment ben no buy wakriti avenue ben no de aba Ghana for nkwara omunya adwuma nya omugo be phone line twat wo say do say no mo ba ya omunya prosper say adwuma bi ekoso apart from Killnet omo edom kwese Abidjan edom ko se aban so de no ba gimu bi a omo so be yebi ono apart from that dey na ekoso bi nothing eti figures na wo da no sa what done motia tetina na professor ba school omo teacher for years ka no makenya she dem kokko we ni we bi na wo yesisi ya no agrasko mu die na bia na wo ye bisesi ha no de dada ye na no dada eto mu ne mu kan dia Killnet
all right
you know your minister for finance Killnet ministry dia no me omo dada no they haven't added anything and they are rushing too much the figures no be fe the books no be fe akwesa akwara akobo apo no de no work bro but my man 100% ba u jana say onko minimum akwara bia wakwakoye oko school papa SHS one pass ono koye na yi no baby boss oba we nya 8 A's and I'm so about me koye medicine was me dey hold him slow
anyway enti aye
tano so fe
but
outside gentility
home crying
eti dey pe ne ete hu enkoye eti good figures nko ade a obama no ba ware
Nemum.
Would the figures money say see how man about but call them man don't me fam.
That's it. Thank you very much. We move what to watch one to be him. Say member MPP media patron, the interior minister and the IGP should be up and doing because the recent shooting and killing is becoming unbecoming. All right. Now I know so the move what to the other brain. Security. The boycott of the MPs in Parliament is becoming too much. Their duties as MPs are for lawmaking, but if they are refusing to make laws in Parliament, then they shouldn't be paid as MPs representing their constituency, say Cadiz or Manchester or Trafford, and or the way Abraham. Lawrence Bacheke Buche was senior Soren Quanta of the Unity Oil Filling Station. The ruling NDC has no recognition or respect for the Ashanti region and its people. The Ashanti region was instrumental in the comeback of President Mahama and the NDC, but has been allocated a paltry 3% of the whooping 5,000 kilometers of roads to be constructed in the next 3 years, as announced by the finance minister during the mid-year budget presentation. The next MPP government will ensure the Ashanti region is hugely rewarded. Long live MPP, long live Ghana. Anyway, Kodi, the president was in Kumasi last week making usual promises about the 3-lane road construction between Accra and Kumasi. But yesterday's mid-year budget, nothing was said about it. Hey, Mr. President. Mr. President, anyway, what do you know? We say good morning, Kodi. I wish to commend you for the good job you're doing and treat our politicians to focus on national development by setting up factories and making good use of our so-called engineers and scientists from Onunkwa, New Edibiase, and Oduwe, Abre, Anope. From Amansan Ntie, as a Kodi, Adia Guta for SSA one any breso any interest rate na enye ahohoa one ton nyoma nubi. Ghana nkwana ukwaje bosia interest rate year 45% aden. Amayen nyoma bo aye ding ewo omayi mu ha. All right. Ono edie enso enono. Hello, good morning, Kodi. I'm watching you from Senegal, Kasamas Elekeni. My regards to your panel, and my name is John Ato Asan. This MPP man has never talked good about the NDC. I'm giving him some Bible quotations. When he gets, he should read Isaiah 5:20. Everything is there, so I beg him, he should stop the propaganda hypocrisy. Anyway, and also action again. Isaiah 5:20. Teacher constitution, we must say the NDC government claims are empty. What's one tangible project they've delivered since assuming office? Let's see some substance, not just rhetorics. Ghanaians deserve better than hollow promises. The NDC needs to back up their boasts with real action. Okay, teacher constitution, dear Enonom. I was at Swedro Sports Stadium yesterday afternoon looking at the renovation work going on there. I was very impressed by the okay, my for the sports for there. Good morning, Kodi. Still, the prices at the markets are higher, especially cement prices. Shelter is important in everyone's life, and the materials used for buildings should be cheaper, so we are not feeling any price reduction. Tell the economists that during the COVID era, a country like USA, China, England, the big countries, their inflation went higher. Are they also thieves? We should be truthful to ourselves. Inflation went higher under President Nana and Vice President Bawumia around the COVID era, and all the big countries were affected. So you should not speak like that. The current government's decision figures is not credible. Bright Takwa Ena Odinidi Abba still a check. Mr. Host, we, the newly recruited university teachers, having been captured in the budget, the Ministry of Education and the Finance Minister has deceived us. If nothing is done, we will show them the exit in 2028. This is from the newly concerned university recruited teachers in Ghana. All right. Teacher Kujo Ewo Tepa and Susu no say propaganda and lies will never help the economy. Let us wait and see the end results. We will know the length of the frog when it dies. If the NDC can perform these wonders in 6 months, then let us wait and see what happens in 4 years. We hope for a better economy, but must be honest with ourselves. What is the effect of the doorless downfall in the lives of our poor citizens? The Minister of Road is calling for a price reduction. I hope traders will listen if the dollar is truly falling. Okay, thank you very much. Also, Odia Banono. Menkai tu inafe mensan emraha Or say Mr. Kyo the NDC yeah papa Adam Obuasi. Okay. Ono edie enonom. We say Baba Mahama Obuasi. Or say we live in a country where our economy looks good in books, but boys and girls are hungry on the streets. No, then the last one, then we come back. Please, I'm Anthony Amwako from Bomfa Esase. It's a newly recruited teachers who have worked more than 7 to 8 months without staff ID and salaries. Have they been captured in the budget? Teacher for soon. Anyway, but the story before we move on to the big push. Or can wasem.
It was a major straight bullet back home.
I don't mean you'll be
But then my difficulty is that my difficulty is I could be also with tacos a day.
No,
but I just want to say something. My problem is with people who don't listen well.
Yeah.
I
said, oh.
And yeah, more friend is in the number.
I speak for NDC.
What I'm saying is that I'm not too sure of your political affiliation, but what I'm saying is that based on your submission now, so I never I'm opening the chest.
Anyway,
you see, my problem is with people who do not listen well, and forgive me if it sounds harsh, but the reality is that make I say I was specific. Me say abaya intentionally.
Yeah.
That's what you say.
So say enya intentional. I mean, why do you? It took us a COVID-19 abaya enya intentional. And even with that, America inflation equal 5%. No, they were demonstrating.
There were agitations.
Yes, 5%.
US almost a sign. One more about 2 or 3 times. UK, yes, UK rather. UK now. Prime Minister so many times.
Yes.
So what he said was that intentionally.
Yes.
And I'm assuming I say intentionally. So many buff now we scary. Which is one of the yes. That's the key net.
In as much as we are careful with our diction, they must also be careful
with how
they listen.
They listen. Okay. That's very important. That's very important. Yeah, I had a big push. Projects, especially road constructions for the next 2 years, 5,000 road constructions and year percentage wise. And Yama a better 2 gram if a road construction. Say if I'm putting them down, Asante region again say they haven't been treated well, fairly. Greater Accra Eastern region 9% of the total construction. Central Western 9%, Ashanti region 3%, Volta OT 37%, Western North 15%, Northern region 18%, Bono Ahafo region 9%.
So you want us to consider the plight of the Ashanti region, right?
No, you're in totality.
In totality,
yes,
well,
in totality, yes.
You're good. You see, it looks good in books, but the reality is that so obi hon fana, na so you creating. I was Yama Oko Hospital and folder no so no look good. Na pumdi na pumdi esisi no hoso. Oh yeah.
Relative waka
na afi no. Wa sha say so oye adwuma na enya benefit. What I mean is that so obi hon fa na I was say man na pum no. Asa wa ye adwuma e de fa so aba. Enti say aban bi fi so oman ne yare a I say osan oman ne yare.
Okay.
Enti you may have to work on the macroeconomic variables. Say office was set the fundamentals right. So for now the government says that it's been working on the fundamentals of the economy. And so once the fundamentals are right, then you can hit the grounds and start with infrastructure that they are on. And I think that is what we are seeing. On my period of 2 years, and I think that based on Bibiane Yewono, Sanka Abane Shasia say or ye acquire atutu sikegu system no more and KBana IMF one crana you woman in Munukumbija. All right. And you know, I think that the government is on the right track in terms of disbursement of Sika or the infrastructure. No, I think it's quite unfair to Ashanti region, but it's almost as if say they base that on. I may be wrong, but it's almost as if say various successive governments, you know, they look at where their votes are coming from, no matches, which is quite wrong. You see, instead say MPP Bapawa. Achimene Ashanti. It is expected Senka and maybe Brio Beko ye. and nanka NDC so papa vote and no so not so
but also the voting pattern, the last voting when Ashanti region was the second highest voting area NDC nyai. I think if there was anything they should have looked at here.
ABI is because of the population. I think ABI population
okay.
And also the more move because sometimes between me call ABI community bia nipa 5 no na 5 ni nya to ama. Na community so no be 100 na nipa 5 to ama. But if you look at the proportion now, you say 5 there no e wait here. So probably that's how they are looking at it. But no matter how we look at it, if we do not distill this nation from partisan politics, MOBia. Look at Ashanti region, acquiring idea that and so many abandoned projects are and sometimes it's sad. Nanka, and na what can I say cry? Because Ashanti region eto Abama NPP pa. Inti nanka NCBI NPP ko nanka womachi aya kama Ashanti region. But
no
so for me, I think that we all have to preach against partisan politics in all spheres of our national lives. Okay. Even in terms of project direction, share the to Abama or the one to Abama. Otherwise, it's strange to see say a whole Ashanti region. Now, this is the percentage ever. Look at the size of Ashanti. Look at the population here. And even if you look at the numbers here in Ashanti region, say what the BBC here, it serves more people in Ghana because Ashanti region has a lot of people. And you know the Obeyama Ashanti region biano wo yama Ghana for bebre. I don't know whether you get my logical reasoning. Yes. And so there is no justification say Obecha the ACC Ashanti region. Unless you have some latent reasons we are not aware of.
All right.
Otherwise, I feel that in terms of disbursement, in terms of sharing the national cake, we should attempt to make it devoid of partisan politics so that Obia Benya the Onya. In any case, one can say Ashanti region for na Twabano. Do you get me?
Yeah.
It could be that there are people who even didn't vote. It won't vote. Because honestly speaking, so far Nipa do our Ashanti region na say or so motoma MPP ni NDC I like this MPP be win. It means that say Nipa do no mo bebre anto aba wo mato ma NDC indirectly. And so core record say bia Nipa do say na to ma opese, but in terms of apathy one more if you nyina eto ma wa say wo so na unya figure ni yi. And so if that is the calculation, then and another thing I sometimes I wonder how politicians reason, because me ma dwene mu no anka nkrofo bu efu no kra no and I was we impress upon them for them to support you the more. You get my point?
But almost be so adwene say we all the good cry here few.
We man said but I think that we cannot build a nation like that.
Yeah. So you're trying from the nationalistic angle there.
Yes.
That's how you're supposed. But you're politicians, see.
And the politicians must help us. We the citizens to do things right. Honestly, say if we grow to that level, you say what Obama be one to Obama no, there will be fairness. Nimpa no to Aba. On suru se me to ama Santini na se me to ama Fantini because me to ma me ye Fantini me to ma Fantini obey ma pede ama me. Me ye northern anti me to ma northern me ye Christo ni me Kremoni me to ma, because then ye never be gia to me say it is devoid of
religion,
nepotism, tribalism, you know, regional those things, considerations. And in the year to Abana, you're based on economic considerations and factual things to vote. We are not going to vote simply because I feel that you come from my hometown. We should go to that level. Ashanti Ntie na hopa no Olusu Ashanti region. You understand? Because we are placing much emphasis on your policies, on the facts on the ground, and that is where we must get to. But for now, no, obiesru.
Competence.
Yes, you have competence. And the way the politicians are behaving, no, it will linger, because the thing is that say Northern Aba, na say edinya wote wa be mu nyina ye Northern Esidin. Sa Ashanti Niba. Na ministers dini MPC dia wote nyina sorry MPP dia general vote, but all the major appointment nyina ye Asantefo ne Achemfo din. It tells you say we Ashanti Ntie na say we join the policy who be we join ya.
So be aso pe bia no beto no.
Because if you look, let's not tickle ourselves and laugh. If you take NPP time na Achemfo no wo more. First is here na we want the northern names near more.
Yeah.
And so Fantefo na
Sabio, one quabem.
Is a mafona or BBI president so far, na hunter for no.
Almost back and say.
And a din do son out there, a hunter din in the meeting.
A ding.
We are more if you want to cry. I now not an Ashanti because nobody did you understand?
Yeah.
And it's very sad. And if we don't take time, the minority will rule the majority.
Right. Remember, Dr. Honore, the big push. Big push. 5,000 roads across 3 years.
5,000 kilometers.
5,000 kilometers of roads. Yes. I'll say constituencies, Makumako 166. Every year, Bia 10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
Every year for each constituency.
That's it. But anyway, Asante, it's okay.
3%. No?
And I am more quarter miles and I go jam my hand. I'm a quarter before him. Interchange so interchange or double day. I am put to Mamma. Hey, you almost said, don't you check? Don't check Master when you I know the girl I run about. I heard to say. I'm going to be a house. Ye, or more could not see. I'm walking and I'm Bajanya. So it's a worrisome. It's a worrisome. It's a worrisome. Then you know, borders on something. So you had a neat development plan. You need the roadmap. And can you know what? Okay, you don't have the distance to say, oh, my Ashanti region, 3%. So, but if your roadmap, say, Ubi over Biana, I said the inner ring road, the outer ring road, these are priority rules. Why, yeah, in ye ye, and counting can say 3%. But you don't have something like that. And who is pushing? If you are regional minister, can be amongst the TikTok queen, what is so and so be so free so akọ kasa ye 3% ni so ne asem so ho no be kan kire no beti ase de anyame nenim okete oti na so pe hot ko nya hwede ba ho ne bi o be kan asem aman dia on so TikTok no kan kire Ghana for say mpanifo no so
nim so wetu anamo na so ntu anamo possibly
na so otu ye nya de ba ni aba ne ka ho ase ho no da ya no yes ye the YouTuber ye de obi an ho osundusa kakra ba na obeboa because papa ba ko no ese no wanyini 20 mi anko we no usa on na ase ha no so the machine so on so e dia asa gina mu TikTok so sai na ese won tu na anko ho no anko ka se ye die ni so so no there no wa
no there no
nti won so mfira yi no so phone no so no anko ho we ka kire se ye die ni so manson kwanta the whole manson enclave ye ni bi Manson enclave free petty number 2 efa petty number 1 kofa semenhia krom twa piase abom kwanta nyina hini emprani ase etwemu akosi antu krom kofi jobo so yewra tunu ba kodu afo that is MP honorable onni asenso boachi former road minister omo kate so papa ni gina so kitikiti sisa slow down it about 3% in constant ko enfem free home pomaye
3% grow can you say outer ring road no maybe a link on bosso
because said manson kwanta nka ho pa ade ne ne dia so be ya ade
mo dia so be
maybe come say can't mi nko ho wodo so yes road on nko akwa free patch number 2 ekosi antu okrum no de ba ko free anwa kwanta ebesin ko si krona make so na that is atwede ansa na etire no wuro mo ko kompesi kwanta be fa ho akọ nipa nchemia onso kuro be on nipa nchemia nipa nchemia am friend nchemia kuro bi da ho da usa so jegetire so nkuro hyehye mu ho a omo kwanya omo ntimi mfa ho nko ba bia se so omo 3% na de aka na ko ba bi foforo 1% there well almost deserve Minka, I will never speak against Obi nya 30-70% no deserve. Onu so deserve. Internet there o mie mu kese. Onu nti na aban duru mrebia so obobo se bi ka ho. Aboa oso na ne ngoma so. Ye mampeni da kofo se ye mombo se amfa nwi na ntwinam. Ba ye body ye japade. Se obobo se no dia ye adwuma. Expand the economy. Na unya se wo kan mo na tetekwa economy na wo ye no. The approach ni atetekwa mean spending no be hu say inflation akosoro mean spending no hu say me na me buy me kan nyina ma betua ni nyina ma de bi every nation they about they can prudently at the year Japan the papa mine or mine move from 3G echo 5G. Over 2 minus or 4G echo 5G. What me now they about 1G Pentium 1. Edi atete kwa economies ni me hu abi mu na mo ye we Kensian na we atete Kensian pa de
Okay.
Say you Kensian economies.
Sure.
And about economies o mo le mi.
What do you to answer?
Me pe Kensian na de no mo.
You were classicals so.
We super classicals. Aba Oba mo bi de adna ko duru so la mi hwe ni nyina bego ene ye nika ba akokora hwe wo ye ja wo fi o ma ekosku bibi ekosku na sa oti wo de ontoma besia wo wa agibusia ma akora de ekosku aba ye better chance o ka se mi de me dwene me huntu de akora se dem ato ni pono ebi na ekoso sesia no kai say they should open the economy. They should open the economy. They should open the economy. Na man for ho kire wo mu ekwan nye Equine enye Asante region ye kwan no enye nye aban we no twa mu koe no obeye bi pa on se last me be bo bridges ne ma wa ya ma flooding antimi ama Asante region o commission atafo ade na man for sere asevu ni pe life ho bebre Angraga Jansen hamu de ene na asefo mu nyina wo ye ni nyina na man for sere se wo ye ntache gi no wo ye wo o de nke pesa ne man ketekiti no man so kwanta kwan do so yenya bi wo homo a eho ne bebi galamsey na ekoso bebre ho na bi amanfo fi say illegal ne ma enkwara no munye bebi mfa ka akora emba nti ho an wo seti ho an obedidi mumbi ne kwan emfa ho kakra emra kronimu.
All right.
Na sa big push in there, you shouldn't call it big push.
You should call it what?
Oh no idea big ne push you can some this na wo ko kan yenye ohwe we big push. Over 5,000 kilometers of road 3 years. What's a big push? Ko check abamba ko do twa mu ko 2 years, within 2 years how many kilometers of road no yeah.
By some say we say 1.1.
I see Rasta for say there are three sides of a liar story. Your side of the story, my side of the story, and the
actual story.
One now you're reasonable bystander. One now you're the best journalist. I will say be amount or Ghana hanging. Kaukranki and Twaba Nanke the amount. But I say how many kilometers of road and I buy
you
know say over 5,000 houses a big push. I could be on the bank or the scare tour or say line was in they call a bulk a home. Bulk and I'm doing that you quite. This is going to create 1,003.
The bulk of the
over here, Macron for half an hour. What they say, now before we say, hey,
anyway,
Abraham Mitchell.
Thank you.
Now we can cry now. 5,000. I say big push. Then I do 12,000 as if one of my friends say super big. One free big push, one kind of push be a 1 year normal road.
Baby.
Normal road or pay terminologies you saw and Fasubi and so. No, yeah, it's a 24-hour economy and I'm going to say 24-hour and free. Yeah, big push be a Munchenny big push, like your net push.
That's it. Thank you very much. Me move on. And I think now was
yes, I wanted to say that even talking about the roads, we say Asante region in terms of resources and the free Asante region. And you know, we are kind of great in the idea, and roads are linked to the farmlands in the and naturally. I was saying you get it. And also talking about the fact that the inflation back form in that steep manner, we should be cautious because the reality is that when you target inflation, you are likely to record high unemployment rate.
Okay.
Because then you run contractionary monetary and fiscal policies. Because the reality is that economics, the higher the demand, the higher the price, all things being equal. Though there are exceptions, but then averagely, so we use money balances from the economy and Masika and come into almost now what common sense and country to him. But then you may also get more money to expand your business or to create more business to employ. Into unemployment affected. So we should strike a balance between bringing down inflation and employment. Economy now more. Inflation bit about 0%.
Still,
because Every time no COVID time na yen tuka no. Fuel about 3 point something Ghana cedis per liter. Because nko baby na dey here dey. Ani bi no person mo yen no kin nyina mo na obi antohwe, ni nyina salite for akosa, obi nko baby a yes inflation aba for mo ni abo yes ma mo. Na onua yare da ho. Onko ya agenda 111 na no mo ye no. Onko sisi on pesika, on mobosin afa onko sisi. Na pressure mra no so no mo nya adwuma pesika. So on the ministers o mo da.
All right. Thank you very much. You move on after the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice. Nei Owura Kwabena Owusu any amanfo kan ho efa NIB bank no eho ensi kasem ya ekodianti yade ne kogina court obaye ose asem no wamo entoa so bio because nei wamba ba betwem be 60% of the money ekodi empanyifo yi eho na amanfo se edika because Attorney General by and some as a far and nipa omoya associated with the party no can a party no as any hoso person beto so. Can we rule a nation like that? We are man for question mo busano no. But I'm paying for hand team mami muso mo na minti omo so adwentre. Doc mami sha se fefro. So many ano.
Me yonko natini.
Miniano, I'm just a very
anyway. Kill the day, a man many Jews I do and say, I establish a fact about the banking sector clean up on our Babakuni and why in vain.
And I saw my barber rubbish and say, Omono, Yomoye, no man in a year because Nipaya nay, Omobam was a mina. They are trying to exonerate all of them.
And the mistress, the Nanka, papa, can power could 60%. Say no indeed Juma. It's 60% of what in Okutia. And then the banker 1 year or the book or no, and Okutia can walk to 60%. It means on my established fact is a one. There was bankers be a banking nibi or her, and as a banker who do be or her, no more bokro, no more near Jumani, a manka Ghana financial wedding in a ecotamina don't come on what yes,
okay.
So Montias, yes, sir. Can you recommend for Uncle 60%? 60% equivalent to what are you saying? How much?
I'll bring you the figures.
Well, the 60% I'm Ntie. Say Sika we are Sika we are en kwano or kotuamu ebupen saying eduosia. Na ban we say and I'm say ni fie ni o na busu ni ntino. Onfa you know eduanan no onfa nko. Ba wuntumi de yenim de akoye nso yemfa jatanko gu ni fie se yekoche na kuno. Wuntumi o MPP ni chairman itu ono de ye suspecting say wo ye illegal mining, ye suspecting say wo ye money laundry enti yemfa atuo nko gina ni fie nko che no mfa ne nko ni ye money say emfa ne nko tum enko da baabi afiase fa ne nko se baabi kasa na awotwe na ye be bill no kra na $1 million say o say $1 million Ghana cedis mransa na bill no ba we de ye the olive leaf olive branch
yeah, the amount.
And ye de kokchia no kwan e no ozana tuamu.
The amount was 5.7 billion Ghana cedis from Unibank.
Say can be
7.5 billion Ghana cedis total amount was siphoned. You just say you have to trade from
Hey. Odon ko bank ho de no. Endum na se for de obi ade mai. And yes, so messing got na Ghana be ne fa so. Ish, the omode be ampa new. E bi anya sika na nyesa. What check ya hwe?
Oh, 5.7 billion, yeah.
Hey. Me rekra ho.
60%.
60%. So
yeah.
which are roughly close to 5 billion.
5 billion, yeah.
Also 7 point.
5.7 no.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just 60%.
60%.
So it's 7 point something.
5.7
billion.
No,
What you be 3 point something.
If it's 7 point something.
Nti be 3.5 billion. Ghana cedi just one fanko. Ah, mo sabe bi bank na manumpo. Eh. Ampa. ene binum de kakra bi yesan wo mu sai minka so obi adi bone am enye wo yo de friend say papa ya no so signals so
Signals Bureau
hi omo yesan omo sen bi de 50 something ne ho mu de de ye chema untimi pa da omo an pie free we ba na ro no timi na ntimpo yesan de tuo ko twa ne fie ho nyina hia now selective justice ani momo yes and to so sa emwa o man no de omo ye de ko na emwa o muso obi ko ye galamse illegal mining chema untumi de why den ne mining akonta mining afẹ de yesi apa black voter ho why gold mine kakraka nyina no yewra mama nua no de onkofa ne nyina nkotuo abaya tu ye ni mo ankoto aba mo ha adwuno asante mampon o mo se o mo pa asantini wo ho ampa o mo ko fa sirem ni akotro no ko asante mampon so asante mampon o mo se o mo pa asantini no BMC
asa mo no because o mo pa asantini on BMC okay, that issue came up, but
umwa. Almost asante mampon pa asantini.
That issue came up.
No mo fa esrem ni namba ho.
Enunti no fa esrem ni ko ho na say da bi nye nuntia. Doctor.
Almost o mo pa asantini wa asante mampon.
Me sure because there are certain areas almost raising issues sir.
Na make sure almost o mo pa asantini wa asante mampon mo ankasa.
Omo kai.
Eni akofa esrem ni akomo ni age na tena ho. Ena chama untimi ko 2 gold ha na yesi wonu de nye eni akofa kakraka ba akosama Ibrahim mama so no nkutu de make anya nokure eni yesi papa bi ade adubo ahe ni sika bi de sika bi minim court asem de mintimi nka bi eni yesa na sa eni yesi we so sika ne de 5.something billion why end this in to kakra nti onko onfa ne hundi Attorney General Krenzo by cases best 10 bi na wa na NDC fo nyina. Wo say there be want me to aso ni obi an kofie nkotena se enyina home. Ambulance bi si musika ene nema bebre. You know so want me continue.
Yeah.
Now where the obi a okowi obi ku afidie mu kusie opechi na odne kotum. Omo the gold mine kakrakade ma obi na obi de soso kotu kitu odu asare kroma na osano. Na je se wa anya adi o. They make what they mention. So, go chance as a kakrakadam will be so uncle 2 gold, no the machines who was uncle Tunko. No, be war, Quanchiago. Or the social could took it to a Biaqua, no, I got Cheney to police station at the police for Yanaka. So, why not you?
And the crowd be first will be true. No,
you know, you also got to know where Kwabena Owusu could do. Don't say, Bibia. Hey, am I who? The charges are quite sort of Boniface. I boys in Ibia, I don't know Gumbe Bribeno. Almost cram and getting kitio. Ampo, Fiscal can was a pa, the back catch the crown almost 3 billion Ghana cedis. No, who hear good my uncle how? And see, I so be patchy. I call your phone. Titi phone, be crab, I could be a son of patch, didn't put 2, 3 years, 4 years. Chale mo munyai sa ne ma we mu no miracle aho minim so topic kura ne anka ene kamama miracle injustice ne too much
anyway
as a democracy no de o meme na kɔ no enko yi o
anyway
ampa obi shata ade we there we free obi she we there be o crime no mo kala crime no ade ba ko pa me de o mu no say o ma establish fact say the banking sector clean up no not there are a lot of issues. Because Bakope Bank, 5.7 billion Ghana cedis. One can be good. Don't say they be good.
Get be good.
Now say coins the good. Create me to a teacher for about 5,000. Now say how high. One munye mubiana. Omunye mubi. See auditing.
How the baby. Payroll auditing.
I do some. Plenty woman. Hey, was me me pay slip. Teacher ba ko dimbrika ba ko crown sa carbon no we
aye
so what o ko printing the pay slip any one anya say ni be free payroll so ni pay ni nyina so kusi adua 3,200 mu ye free so e go so onye go so tie mu dan amount ya say mo bi di 5.7 billion cedis akoso onko tena sindi teacher ni o kira de o man so ya kuroma ne ho kire no a kito bi wa mesan ni bibi ko mo say yin di na free no more small fidie na yin keto akase kwa yifo na ejan we mu fo no kode a mo hwe ni yo yewra mama we nko ade e be petition say sa ade we nko no nsan ko hwe mu bio se we no friend resetting no pa ade a enye resetting
anyway
business say we no friend resetting no pa ade a we the agenda wum e kionet because the entina bejeja wo nyina I'm not happy see do obi tum Nancy amusi MPP for mpanimfo ni bia omo yewe no omo ha ase etuotu omo sika no kakra di bidin by I'm happy so omo tua punishment or I give the punishment even to them but we also 60% don't continue I am come from one from born in Chawom.
All right, remember Dr. Nuno na Mintio no.
I mean from born in
Chawom. Issue we know what we all have to understand is say abandoned liquidation are different from blatant theft. So obi a company na ofodi apa. And when he say you be break the corporate veil to see say behind the veil no or the room and I say krata shibia. Na ya sha atwena so. So it is more like obi affect you abobi and that's what this kind of obi kunu. Na obi so asada de ka akonya asada na nimpe wu. Mienu no ense ba ni nyina so nimpe wu ye. It is obi be company na kwan bi so company no go a. E ya na nsan kan na different from obi a wase de wie sika. E bank na egu ye. E bank na egu ye. Na o liquidate ye. Enti say they work on 5 billion kra na so 3 billion na. Likely say through the liquidation process no in the second be buy because I tell your ton company na assets they be an uncrophobia the company ne kai was and all those things they be cry na enyesika na we akoto no san kokuru buy but they be through the process no to recover be na odema aban no that is not to justify the fact that ya koye say aban that the uncrophobia nyina wo mo issue no the government is interested but one more every the company nyina ne de obi anko because issue no any nyina so bia yes I understand the fact that it be a drag ya check but then ya koye one too many say all those are na ewo aban we mu a ye do mo kogina court nyina obi ya akọ nanka edien so nanka ebesai senka yetumeje 60% no tuaye no ene ye ma court processes no ekusi ya anka ebeye den ebia nanka obetua more and I'm not too sure what has been the agreement between the government and this the Yapapan before no whether it is the case that wajatum so betua yakano because I don't have the nitty-gritties of it. But if it is the case, obetua the yakanadia, then probably we are on the right track. But if it is the case that we tua 60% it the if you said the yakano who nya be brintina, yes you on konadia, then I have every cause to worry.
Per what we have Nadia, the 60% ends it.
It's ends it.
Yeah. Per what we have. Unless of course they come on clarify.
Yes, and I think that they must come clearer because see the yakan 40% they are around 2 billion.
Yeah.
It me a year school feeding program for about a year or two. You understand? It me see hospitals quite to beds near the oxygen coho.
I talk as my teacher for.
The Ohana said the Attorney General Office has reportedly set a recovery benchmark of 60%.
And that is a benchmark. Any young you will go. Nice as Uncle Force and I say,
60%. Yes, you are supposed to.
It's a bad precedent.
Yes.
You see, so we may have to come again.
Yeah.
Because Sepa say Obi be Fiscal and I say ye beja tum say nimpa no maybe anko ye because I understand say
I think it comes from the fact that those banks collapsed.
Yes.
The collapse na almost maybe if they can recover about 60% because now the bank is not in existence.
Yes.
Until minimum I'm not an economist. Any
it's a old asset benchmark 60. There's a business commitment to 70.
I saw no asset 60. I said me major transfer ko be na nipa work man no. Me na ma bo marking boss am command 20%. We do also budget 10%. I'm saying here. And I'm true. It is the benchmark no. Yeah.
O man no bubu ni say.
And people who say yes, and Jessica ordinance abo mo fan directly. Company no see and they fold up.
Yeah.
And you feel it, and sometimes it happens. And so people even believe that the best way to steal is to set up a bank. But then once it's a company, now there has been a liquidation process. You don't expect say it will go through the system the way as Obia work audit you so the processes must keep unfolding. But anka ebe fair so obema court case no akwesi abra enye se bi 100% na wetu wie ena se nka ofili se wetu 60% no it's a show of goodwill so obetu ade aka no so dia na wa me hu se bia ye na ye nhyehyɛ bi se sika no because of the way it say the same ontua ne sa we are not interested in the
but set benchmark there what again am no me go negotiate.
Yes, but
what set benchmark?
I'm not too sure whether the benchmark ends it.
There may be other
the benchmark and they say would meet 60% at the aka don't be sure when be so amount some payment plan strategy and plan be would be me meet you.
Now Oko baby ko pa ko nya tro so yama bench abe na so ko pe fi akonya dey bench ni
I had the bench man kola
anyway
bench be si odi akonya bi enu ho bi mo wi o mu tie bi o mo tana se no mo akoche 40 na di
anyway
that is the vote that is na election e koto ye no no mo che 40 na di no
anyway right yebani abe wrap up aba men ka messages no kakra bana we pick our last one na yin. Good morning Cody. I was passing by when I saw the Kwabena Owusu University of Science and Technology and I asked myself, what are they doing there, Ghana, from Ononkwa, Kwabena Owusu for your day? Yeah, I no pay. Wapejo modium esihe. Evangelist Ebel can come Boedu Eke teacher Bonti Ewa Santia Chimofo so Mr. Kelly and NDC and NDC and Mahama should stop the galamsey as you promised, period. My regards, okay. Hey, Afina Gabriel Ababedu. Anyway, please, Kelly, good morning. Please, do you know we have more than 180 local government staff employed since 2023 who have not been paid for the past 19 months, but we didn't do anything on this in the budget review. Please, I want you to use your platform to plead with Finance Minister to do something on it for us. Okay. Wate. Good morning, sir. You are doing a fantastic job. Please, we the university graduate teachers who have worked for 7 months. Hey, I know so above. That's not the above. We're a different person. Sir John. No, the way. Right. Please, dear host, ask the minister that all newly teachers who he said are on payroll didn't receive staff IDs. Talk less salaries. Okay. I know the Kodi. Boko conflict is transferring to Ashandri because the king wants to settle it. I don't know. You are saying that one. That one, I'm not so sure about that. Cody, why are you checking about the percentage in the road project, the big push, but not the money involved in that project? I think Ashanti region project will cost more than other regions, from say Cabis, Manchester, Old Trafford, Cornbrook, Grove. Okay. Anyway, there's a 3% not money being a becoma. What again? Anyway, we say, Mr. Cody, I'm back again. I promise you that nothing will come out with a big push. I'm telling you that by God's grace, when we get to 2028, you people will sit on your TV and complain that President Mahama deceived us. If we can speak the truth under President Nana, when it comes to road, he did more in Ashanti, especially Kumasi. He did more as aphatic roads in Kumasi, and my own Ashanti people should know that ours is MPP. No matter what, NDC will never like us. Next time, no matter what, we should vote massively for the MPP. Bright or Takwa. On a casa kind Bible, no. And there be on a catcher. Doctor. Anyway, Mama said, Akwaba. Gabi. Naboko there. Oh, Nana the other day.
Yes, it will be the cable do rentals. On some of the mobile toilets that yeah, Baba Quine, so not blocking. Moquaso. I sound to put to your road. Oh, free. I put to your quite of Fauku. Never require by us artisan. Now, you don't want to walk of water, crack a crabby grand cake. Then I'm a delay.
Man for the Aban Academy way now. One for man. That's what the offers here.
I guess the man's wrong. The woman say once before the year 2024 elections. I am more for you. Or name of I saw for G word. One almost end this cry. Until the see any now, I want to die. I say a mark. And baby anywhere, sort of mechanism. And Tiana, if we need to do Gabriel, the offer showing in our man, I'm your budget. At to force the beginner working kind. Not can for in our working kind. obi anu say Ghana for nyina beti ato force agya
Ken
because on
2017 year bon some matter you Kano
the party for MPs from the watching here say ono wadi bomba yie wa yebusuo from mo ban nti aban na mpam na omo konkomo so nyina ne ho na ede efriba abani ampa ne nuane ampa wotan chen no ɛhɔ na nneɛma hyɛ sɛ de ɛdane nti Ghana ni bia wɔgyidie wɔ atofo ɔsɛ mu sene owura kenoforiata so da meka na se ɛna sɛ ba economic indication indices a wohu ya na economic sɛ kai kabia obia wɔgyidie sɛ de atofo ɔsɛ yɛ better sene de Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ɛne MPP no mo nam ɛde ɛkeka no nti die otie budget ni bia me tie ni nyinaa me kɔ fie me za kɔ ɛsa da na malaria bi ham kakra me ta hwɛ ni nyinaa kɔsi na wo hwɛ a MPP fo ba na ɔma ama no edi sɛ ɔmo ma because ɔmo kɔtena hɔ a animguase no bɛyɛ kɛse the NTS animguase no bɛyɛ kɛse sɛ wɔhwɛ si bi atofo sɛ ato ne boas ɛka nneɛma yi sɛ ɔsɛ dɛ bɛm ka sɛ yɛbɛyɔ yɛyɛ yayɔ difference sɛ dɛ ɛwɔ ɛnura akyi yagye nyinaa council number sɛ aya mɛmɛ government appointee aban sɛ obetua 1,300 ayɛ dɛ aman nti arrest bɛyɛ 3 months ayɛ dɛ aba yɛbɛkye mebɔ so also here almost 24 hour economy na ban nka ho here o federal assembly component now 25% of this assembly common fund was here market for jail towards 24 hour economy me boa na busa wo say MPP time no
that's kind of about to mafu abatom
me diagro me can see fe diagro me ofa dambotwe e ka say common fund no o mo si kuso won kan a o mu di say na mafom MMC is time mo bo o time any time no I hate it yɛde bɛyɛ adwuma bibia yɛde akɔso me ofa so wo yɛn spend wo so hu se wase free agents yɛtua sika okay 1 billion NHS yɛtua free stress yɛtua school feeding yɛtua wo so yɛn spend
ne wetua
edwo de wo mu se yɛwo bi ɔhan ka akɔ ayie te tundwa no wodam do na make that any wo bi ono so de ka ketekete wa na no de ban na yie medun sa abodie ma do no ha ka ba yie no so afi wa se mema mo check no ko bank ga de na ba wo so ene no ro de ka ketewa ba wo se 200 days nti eye obi an life wa de obo no mo se economy ni ba fo mi sa ni e betwa sika gum ni e be ma me ga jira me se ofa ken no atena wa kam na to me bi communicators won ka bebre ni onya ho hwe enim guase kase e be to MPP na no be 2028
ene say
amra dollar ba be da 7 cedi
dollar baba to service di
me so dey fe di agro na wo yo mo say reflective we bottom me de emo no meto no 518 and about 450 and you swat take tomatoes na near ton e so e dey ati only we was say bank aba bank aba na yi say du ba kura mu zie ni di wo so man ma yi di bibia nko yi but you nya say yenya move the goodwill and goodwill na eni nya and na sami jamfidi bobo gold na gold ball so they make us moment time we have gold for oil what is a gold for oil this kabia be room man they can gold ball is for something 5.something billion be room so they make us it me the enya na say Ghana for go so amon pale man watch na Christopher but na zie for gu so mo bo enu akra mo for boy ye na na mo so ye ko enkunya dem be gun ensa ase na me say adwempa mo banyi do man mama ne ndi se nya ma Ghana for ye bompa ye ende enter chire be de be yi na wo come asante region won tie mo banyi do man mama ba ka say Krofro market obey anu amusa aga bia anu ama budget na mo se sika ne de sa banka so be ya de am budget de budget ye timi ye ma ne ye me bo ni ye ni panadwen so odwen wo no be ya de ban de amon
basa no so basa people would look at it from say na ekwa koyesa reckless spending ni because it's not captured as a debate yen kan ho nsem no akofa ba emma meye de ya ne akofa MDC for NP for no to twere go yom to twere ye
woni masapa
asamu de here
executive ni ye so woni ye boat ya de wotin chen de o boat ni de se ni sika woni ye boat nso woni gidi wo fiscal so anyon crofo so de energy we ya ko he rate park say ehin na unni budget municipality ni ye e bu aba no direct so na make na say and this ye crofo market no na ke ye tie phase 2 ye wie so for mo ta mo anya MPP for ta mo anya na ye wie na fe de minya bi na okay wo dia so na e be gina so kuma wo si bia mo di be just stop akwa so mo uza bana ya de papa me wa no bo man so kwan efie nwatwidie o say ka je say ye be ye ya ye difference o so mo say lamentation o anya emno mo kwa original elections ni nyamba so fo no ye president say wuntumi na so e kwan no wa e bo hini bi ni kura kan me bondi so na make na say enti mo anya ni nyina na mo banyima wa so say 3% you know 3% no ye from anya kwanta to manso abon
no wa say outer ring road
the ring road dey say dey ring gare dey bia say ring ya enti manso anya kwanta to manso abore na dem a so na make
ayebi
drip machines ya ba access roads to the villages and the towns ne afum say aban this ka be won say me wo fere ko buka ho asem so me fans baba ne yitwa me nua na dey aba enti me nua me dey da bia me say hwa ko ma trimpo obi a wo se wo pa NDC boni bia no enu am quotation platform me wo stress ade no dey no woni begu ase because one wo ka say e man aba ena bi so president na asande fo wa me ka se ne ya de omu ya no say na dan gwagu fodo on o take fm wo se won kwa wa on show bi nsa so nkoto aboma no enti wo mi vo say kwa abere kwan ne maso kwa chenjira o me dey o meye NDC en ka bi on banyi John Mahama me nua panyi atofo sen ene ya regional minister ene ya panin fo mo ane ye be kwa so omko be mko so ansre alright so no me kan say mko so ansre wo MC ya wo konkran a fa uruos no kokosre na ze bu am say ebi wa utitimi ye yo wo ko na panyi bu office na eduru wa ye se woni se mo etimi di job woni sim na wo se sim ye ni nyawo nti bia ko me nua isa ka salifu okoye o kokotro Country Road Pampaso
so yakura ne yeduri ya ho asam ne yeduri
ya
pia watu
we na ze mo na odi ani a se wo ko so na me gina
the time aso
Pampaso ya make e be because we ni chama me ko ni wo firo na mo bojo se wusu abegina platform say Country Pampaso ko tal no ja do se nyai no obo ne sam
just a minute na wrap up
no ko de me de ma no si me de ma no si ma mantam and I am ya pa
ombetu ye
I am ya me de ma no si asante man na ba bia fidie kodu bia munya wrehemu wo omapanyi John Mama if you line audio no wo yehye ne yam nyanyina so pa na ama NDC atena so ache enti ni 30 years no ni nyanyina anya post bia di next 30 years ye di 30 years agwawie
anyway
ayi on party na agwawie party ni guwie dia
party enti be fa na west be kan dia no
dog nyamisha me de maba ko ma wona se ma to die yonya ne se ni nyina be to so na ama se bia o moda ne nkra na ntie o mo na nkran enu party ni nya guwie a ye ni ani ye di so ma bibia de aye kama na asante mamu de nkola no me hye nkola bi bo na o mo ye 13 say o mo nya free stress ni wi a me sa na o mo to abama ndisi me sa de get fund aside am ko kwasa fu ageni abaso redi nkola no mo die nyina na mo progress nya bi fu mo from say na we nyina o na me say ha
ti o mo nyina ba ndisi
ye wurade say from la ye o mo do 40% of the region wi a party ni ya gunu
me da say doc ma biti just so if you dey na point
just the Ghana for you now na some say as I say Ministry of Finance for Foreign Affairs omaka so makochi chinko fu bi QNet for bi do mako Nigeria na ma Cote d'Ivoire na se for bi no so principle now na be here I say you remember buying the honestly speaking QNet
all right
so say aban obedru ye na o change government decision akupo bi ba so metro to figures ma no betro kra won kutam no be now Ghana for are struggling and suffering teacher for form say so munyina yes omunyanya pay me wa bon kasira ontua omoka
all right
sa spending also spending you was statutory spending say obetua salaries e also okotua
allowances
NHIS obi ko renew the card obi ko renew na wotua ka friend say VAT percentage also a yetede ko edikoma committed we are untimi ka say untua yetua ye dia mo se fa koma wo mo
me da say
eti wono what the expenditure also are you teacher for salaries and we salaries say otua no bond out on na say on na di tuatua ka expenditure ne say inner ring road outer ring road Fesicabra contractor for ya adwuma dada no tua o mo ka unim say utua pe inflation na o ma obi tro to figures ma no e be sa esesa untimi twesika mu me say me sha obo enura fiwe obo musika mo no
me da say thank you very much Dr. Solomon Kwati for crew a lecturer of KSTU Dr. Evans Nunu economics and Gabriel Sidu rep the National Democratic Congress. Thank you very much for and nyame adma enwumre ye besan atwa aso our democracy but my wish happy birthday Sonko enko enfama eye nipeya edidi isui na yento so happy birthday enko enfama Lordina also may the days ahead be full of favor blessings and good health. May every dream you hold in your heart come true reality this year. Lordina Nyami Enshaw. Happy birthday, Enko Enfama, my beautiful daughter. Edu Gertrude, Mame Efia Owokumewu, we Efri Yaw Edu Gaspar, Vice Chairman de Ma RFA Ashanti, Ono Enso Edie Ode Abrey Enono. And Afi, happy birthday, Enko Enfama Sandra. Sandra Nyami Enshaw pa Nyami Sha Samson, happy birthday, Enkoma Miss Johnson Dubik. Moman, we if we hear a course our Kentampo or see Nami in showers pa Saturday. Yes, sorry, I'm a say Jolaka Ababe Twasso na or the Agudi who ensem no Eddie Abrain.